Hello, this video is for myself. It is a documentation on total asymmetry, so-called facial asymmetry. My face is already asymmetric, and now you can see it is even more asymmetric. So if you draw a line here, you can see this goes way out here, and this doesn't. Now I am starting to look more and more like that grandmother in the video game of those kids on Facebook. Every tooth that is removed brings me a little bit closer to becoming that grandmother. Eventually I will have no more teeth and my smile will be like this. Hey, 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 hello children, hello grandkids. But that's fine, because that is the route I, Nicola, am going. I'm not going to, what's his name, plastic surgeon Bo Johnson, or whatever their names are, from the doctors. I forgot his name, but it's like, me from the Tea Party. Hey, come here. I will cut your face open. No, thank you. I've already had my fair share at the dentist with that. So anyway, yes. I'm not going to show you how it looks on the inside, but it looks pretty wild. And yesterday it was hurting so bad I had to take 5 ibuprofen, believe it or not. So, but this is all like relatively normal. I mean, we shouldn't accept it as fate given or something, because, you know, we can do better. We cannot eat candy, for example. We probably won't have that many problems. Most likely, okay, if we only go completely raw vegan, I'm already vegan, but I eat candy sometimes. Sometimes white sugar, which is not good at all, causes infection. I read about it on the internet, and it has a direct effect on the tooth enamel and the entire tooth composition. And a tooth is not just some static thing, you know, there is stuff going on inside of a tooth that I had absolutely no idea about. There are nerve canals in the tooth. It's not just one nerve in the middle. It fans out. There has capillary type of branches of nerves that go all the way through the tooth. And the tooth is actually a factory of chemicals that can actually produce toxins that are extremely hazardous when the tooth is broken. I didn't know all these things. I researched this now because of the situation I had. I had a crown put on that went completely backwards. And all of this can happen, okay? That's not what the problem is. The problem is when the dentist covers it up. Then the problems really take on another proportions. And the patient suffers, and all of this to cover up from losing money and from having the reputation damaged. But if you cover it up, guess what happens? The risk of you suffering from a heart attack because of the fear of the patient being really miserable and unhappy and really leaning into a direction like this, or the possibility of it, okay, that gets pretty darn rough. It becomes bloated out of all proportions. But they don't think about this in the moment they do it, you know. In the moment they make this quick decision to cover it up. I think it's a egoic knee-jerk reaction. The moment they want to cover it up, I think they even deny it to themselves. So maybe something like this going on. And then, oops, oh, that was not a good idea, to cover that up and to act like, oh, it's all okay, that should be okay. Yeah. Yeah, and then the patient screaming in pain every day for over a week. Not good. So anyway, but they got really lucky, these people, because I ain't suing. I'm not the sue type of person. Man, they got really, really off easily this time. But this was not the worst of the entire story. The worst is still to come. The oral surgeon, and I'm not going to mention any names here, but the oral surgeon who strikes me to be coming straight from a Tea Party summit meeting doesn't like hippies. That's the impression I'm getting. I don't know 100%, so I can't make any factual statements on it. But this is my impression, that's my intuition on it. And although I'm not exactly 100% dressed like, how is the average hippie woman dressed? Okay, you tell me. Maybe more like in the direction of flowing garments and loose-fitting clothes, and with lots of stones and gems around the neck and stuff like this. Beautiful. It's just not my style. So the way I appeared there is not exactly like a hippie, but they smell it. A different way of expressing things. And you know what? I cannot hide it. I cannot hide being a hippie. I cannot, as much as I want to hide it, I don't have exactly a hippie haircut. It's more like a nerdy type of haircut. I wear clothes that are more like usually t-shirts and a belt that says trucker or so. That's not hippie, So I'm already trying a little bit, I buy what I like, what I find pretty, what speaks to me, ornaments or something. I have a different taste than most people, so I combine different things. But it's in these nuances that's sometimes so unconscious, subconscious nuances. And these people, they are so sitting on the alert with this, like alert, hippie alert, they sit right on this edge, they have radar ears in regards to this. They hate hippies so much, they want to hurt them. So what happened is, on that dentist chair, this guy absolutely brutalized me. It's the truth. I'm not making this up. First of all, he had to take that crown off that the other dentist had put on, that was glued on and didn't even want to come off. He had to chisel that off. And my question is to other oral surgeons, if it's sitting that tightly, wouldn't it be a good idea to just put it into a vise, these little vices that they have, and just treat it as if it is the actual enamel and just screw that tooth up with the crown on it? I mean, it's just a thought that I had, that I expected that, so because it's glued on with some really heavy cement glue. So anyway, maybe they can't do it that way, but it would be the more logical thing to do, and it would be less painful. Anyway, he chiseled this off, and part of the actual tooth came off with it as he chiseled, and the instrument just slammed against my upper jaw real hard, and I cried and I whimpered. It was all so painful, even under the anesthesia, local anesthesia. And also when he put the local anesthesia in, he had to give me several injections because he said, oh, when you have a hot tooth, then the nerve doesn't react as fast to the anesthesia and so on. That's what he said. And so I waited and waited until it got numb. It didn't get numb at all on the first try, on the first couple of poking into it. And then he had to poke in again another, I don't know, bottle of anesthesia. But the second time he really jammed it into the infection. And he jammed it. I know the difference, you know, because the other dentist was very careful with it. I didn't feel anything with the other dentist. When the dentist who was doing the crown, he had to give me also a full bottle and only had to do it once, I think. So, but I didn't feel anything. So this guy, the oral surgeon, who looks a little bit like that guy from the doctors, like the plastic surgeon, but he looks even more Tea Party-ish. So this guy, he really wanted to hurt me. I could feel it. He really wanted to stick it to me. He really, and then once he was taking that off, he also took my chin and he yanked my head back and forth like this. Back and forth, back and forth. And I wonder what he was thinking while he was doing this. You know, I leave this imagination up to you, the viewer, what could possibly go through someone's mind who does this. But back and forth, yanking my head like this, and real brutal, everything brutal, no care at all, brutal. Then sewing it into the flesh, and then the smell, the smell of that hair material, which is the tooth material, is like hair, you know, like when you burn hair, it's the same smell. And these particles of burned hair material from the tooth and smoke coming right into my nostrils, straight like from here, like right into, and I couldn't breathe through my throat. I had to breathe through my nostrils, and I breathed all of these particles in from the tooth and whatnot else, you know, metal particles, who knows. And I thought I was going to choke to death. I mean, it was so horrible. It was just such a horrible, obnoxious experience. And you guessed it, I'm not going back there ever. Okay. They have 3 nice people working there. They have 3 nice girls that are working there. And the dentist who owns it is very nice. It's just sad that he thinks, of course, he doesn't think about me being in pain, but he thinks about saving his reputation. So that's always comes before the well-being of the patient, or at least me, the patient, me, Nicola. So his life, his advancement before me. So that doesn't feel good to me at all. That makes me feel abused. That makes me feel rejected. That makes me feel unloved. Yeah? Completely disrespected as a person, as an individual, as a living being. And I just wanted to make this video to say this, to get this off my chest. Anyway, take care, bye-bye.